Hey you guys, this is Jeremy with In The DAW. Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Mercurial Reaxis plugin. This is a really cool plugin emulation of the Mesa Boogie Tri-Axis preamplifier with a lot of Mercurial style upgrades included. So let's just jump in and take a look. All right, you guys, so this is the Mercurial Reaxis plugin. This is essentially a emulation of the Mesa Boogie Tri-Axis preamp that is a very flexible preamp that has the voicings of many of the most popular Mesa Boogie amps, all the way from the Mark series to some of the rectifier style circuitry. And with that said, because it was just a preamp, when Mercurial emulated this, they obviously had to do more and add something to it to make it even better. So let's start off by just going over the general overview of the plugin, and then we'll take a look at how it sounds. So the first thing you'll notice is that you have your input modes right here on the top left. This is going to be mono or stereo. You have your input volume, and then you have your ability to bypass any of the sections itself without even going through any of the menus. We also have the volume output and then the quality control, which is going to be our oversampling. This is going to go from 1 all the way to 8. Keep in mind that every time you go up, it's going to eat up more CPU. Now, directly under the volume input, we have the menu control. This allows us to select between our programming and our presets. There are tons of presets to choose from, but you can save up to 90 of them, so there's quite a bit you can do. Each one of them is going to control every single parameter, and you can easily lock them, reset them, copy, paste, save, whatever you want. Now, after that, we have the control for the actual preamp section itself, and this has gain, treble, middle, bass, lead drive 1, lead drive 2, master, presence, and your dynamic voicing. You're also going to see right here the modes, and this is going to have the rhythm and lead selections. The rhythm is going to have green and yellow, which is going to be clean and dirty. And then the leads have obviously your cleans, your dirty channels, and your lead channels. You're going to notice that these are very flexible and they all sound very unique, which is pretty much what the Tri-Axis did well. Is it sounded very unique and it was very flexible. That is the actual emulation of the preamp itself. But obviously, Mercurial did a lot more. They gave us a pre-effects section, which is a nice little selection of stomp pedals. We have a gate, a wah pedal, and a couple of really powerful, really flexible overdrive pedals. We have the Super Drive, we have a Grid Slammer, and then we have the 808 and 807. And these obviously you can use the mod. So you can have essentially 6 different distortion styles or overdrives. Next, we have the amp and cab section. And because the Tri-Axis was a preamp, it didn't have a power amp section. So Mercurial added one. And they gave us 3. They gave us the single-ended 6L6, the push-pull 6L6GC, and the push-pull EL34, as well as having a master output and a presence knob. This section really does bring life to this emulation. It sounds so good, and it would not sound the same without it. In the center, we have the ability to select between our microphones. We have a 57, Royer 121, and a MD441. We have the slider up here that allows us to switch between which cabinet we're more weighted towards, either the left one, the right one, or somewhere in between. We can choose at what position we have the microphone from the cabinet right here, where we have the distance and the placement. As far as the cabinets that we have a total of 8 cabinets to choose from. We have a choice of 4 very well modeled cabinets, and then we have 4 more that are the same cabinets but with a EQ change. You're also able to load up your own impulse responses or your own reverb impulse responses, so this is actually really flexible. Moving on from that, we have the post effects, and this has a chorus. I think Mercurial's chorus is one of the best choruses out there. We have a reverb, which sounds very good, and it has different presets for it. We have chambers, springs, rooms, halls, stadiums, and cathedrals. And then we have our delay, which has a couple of different styles, and you can choose to have it in parallel or before the reverb. That's it for the plugin. It's not as complicated as it looks, even though it is still a little bit scary at first. But once you start playing around with it, it's really easy to use and it sounds great. Now, what I want to do is I want to play this general mix that we have. This is actually a song that we're going to be having a contest with pretty soon. So I thought, why not throw one of my best amp sims on here to see how it would sound? Everything has been processed using the Reaxis from the bass to the 5 electric guitars. So what we're going to do is just bring up one of them so you can see it. We're going to play it, and then I'm going to go through all the settings. So here we go. So now what we're going to do is go over the processing. So the first thing we're going to solo up is the bass guitar. And all I did for this one is I essentially just grabbed the Reaxis and I got a slightly dirty sound using a little bit of gain on rhythm 2. Let's take a listen to this with it on. Let's bypass it. It's just adding a little bit of grit to help it cut through. Next, we have our rhythm guitar section. Now, there are 2 rhythm guitar sections. We're going to grab this first one. And let's take a listen to this one. I'm going to make this mono. And we're going to bring up the Reaxis that I had for this one. This one's essentially a crispy kind of sound. It's not really designed to sound crazy or anything. It's just designed to have a slight bit of crunch and breakup to it. The next one to the right is going to have a much different sound though. Bypass. So this one has a little bit less breakup and also has a much different tone to it. Next, we have our other rhythm guitars, which play in the center of the song. And these have a much different voicing than the other ones. So I'll put this in the middle and we'll take a listen to this one. Pretty cool. We'll put this back where it is and let's listen to the other one. Let's bypass it. Pretty cool. And now really quickly, let's listen to the whole thing with all the guitars on. It sounds really cool, right? It has a very big sound and it actually sounds really good. Next, we have it on the solo. And this one is pretty simple. I have it on the lead voice 1 on the green channel. And I have the gain cranked up pretty high. And I'm actually going through a EQ and then straight to a delay on a different channel. I did this because I wanted to have some more control over my delay, so I didn't use the inbuilt one. But it did sound really good. So let's take a listen to just the solo without the delay first. Let's bypass Reaxis. And let's turn on the delay. And let's take a listen to it in the mix. Cool, and there you have it. Personally, I really like this one. This is probably my favorite heavy metal guitar amplifier so far. Stay tuned because we are going to be taking a look at their other amps pretty soon. But this is definitely one that I highly recommend checking out. The only downside is the CPU usage is pretty high sometimes, especially in the higher oversampling modes. But that's easily rectified just by printing the tracks. And with that said, I think that's going to be it for this part of the video. I'll see you guys in a few seconds. All right, you guys, so that is the Mercuriall Reaxis plugin. Honestly, I think this is one of the more realistic sounding amp sims that are out there on the market, and Mercuriall has a great price for it. It is a little CPU hungry, but it does sound really, really, really good. Anyway, I'm going to have links in the description below where you can check it out. This is Jeremy with In The DAW, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.